Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain came and went, and it garnered its fair share of near-perfect reviews. It also obtained the highest Metacritic rating for a game this year, and rightly so, just based on the mechanics. After playing the game for 250 plus hours, I have to say the Phantom Pain actually provided me personal closure for me as a fan, and what I thought about the direction of the series overall. Phantom Pain is the final Metal Gear game for Hideo Kojima, one of video game's few auteurs. After a split with longtime publisher Konami and Sony to be the first publisher to release new IP, it seems like old news. But Phantom Pain, dealing with the theme of loss, as well as its structure, conveyed the theme very well. There are a few vestigial elements from the older title, such as a drawn-out monologue regarding themes of language, but the game conveys its theme of revenge through mechanics such as the FOB system that allows you to retaliate against fellow players that invade their bases, just obfuscated by a cynical microtransaction item such as insurance for stolen items and coins to accelerate equipment development. Gameplay is the main focus this time, if the plot being a bit more straightforward. It was kind of a bit lacking in the final act, though. AI adapts to your tactics during the single-player missions. For example, if you do your missions mainly at night, guards will be wearing night vision goggles. Depending on the time of day, it will also affect the guard patterns of placement. There's a lot of depth in tackling these missions. You can play it like a traditional Metal Gear game undetected, or conduct an aggressive raid with your support helicopter. Unlike most scripted games, especially stealth games, you can break the order objectives and the game will react accordingly. The only other game I can think of that does this is the older Hitman titles, with its multiple solutions to objectives. But not the best start in the series, it attempts to tackle serious themes such as language, racism, and ethnic cleansing. I'm not sure if this has to do with franchise fatigue, but it did have very standard plotting, but at fans' expectations of a missing link was the ire of much criticism. He does it again in the end, much like MGS2, breaking the fourth wall. Big Boss speaks to Venom as Hideo Kojima to the player, telling them it's up to them to what happens to the franchise going forward and to bid us farewell. At the same time, it also characterizes Big Boss as being manipulative mastermind, using one of his most loyal soldiers and turning him into a body double. Fanbase was expecting him to do a heel-face turn, but we're given a more subtle method characterization. By taking away control of Big Boss, the player can look at him more objectively. The prior prequel Metal Gear games have painted him as a sympathetic hero who is the victim of circumstance. This is played as in we don't think of ourselves as a villain, as in MSX's originals, but thanks to the ending, it shows rather than tells as Big Boss has gone down the deep end. Venom's fake is a hold for the player, who coincidentally was the medic who took the brunt of the explosion in Ground Zeroes. Ground Zeroes mirrors a tanker chapter of MGS2, while Phantom Pain mirrors the plant chapter. The difference is that it doesn't explicitly tell you outright you're a different character. There are a bit of foreshadowing even in like the earlier trailers, as one of the main supporting characters, Kaz, stares up the camera and remarks, "What about him?" As well as the visual inconsistencies of Big Boss in future installments, such as the lack of a bionic arm and shrapnel to the head. Venom's lack of dialogue also is a telling sign, as he's a less talkative player surrogate. Graphics are near photorealistic, provided by the in-house Fox engine. The game is rendered in near 60 frames per second with some pop-in. Character models are well detailed, as well as having great facial animation and excellent camera work. Audio is also great with the use of directional sound and the ambient soundtrack by Ludwig Porcel, Justin Burnett, and it was produced by Harry Gregson Williams. The illusion well done, as with Ground Zeroes, with some nods to the original Metal Gear Solid with mostly naturalistic dialogue. All the prior games in the series, there are very few boss battles. One pits you against a supernatural sniper, which was fun in hindsight. It was well done, and the intro to it was very organic. Instead of the game going into a cutscene, it will trigger during your travel to one of the main story missions. The other fights in the standard fare, pitting you against the bullet sponge pulse unit, and a clever environmental puzzle involving water. The first half of the game is well done, with few filler. The game's plot seems to be a victim of circumstance as well, due to the impending deadline and friction between the publisher and Kojima. The latter third of the game has too many filler missions, and it's brings a way of unlocking the final story mission, This has the adverse effect of slowing down the pace to a crawl. Kojima's games have been criticized for its overuse of cutscenes and expository dialogue, but a few more to move the plot could have helped it move smoothly towards the game's conclusion. There's also a fun multiplayer mode which includes bounty hunting, which is team deathmatch with a twist. If you ult in an enemy with multiple kills, your team will regain their tickets. This can be a huge momentum shifter, and it's very fun. The second mode is Cloak and Dagger, which plays similar to MGS4's Team Sneak, or the Spies vs. Smoke mode in Splinter Cell. This, in my opinion, is quintessential multiplayer Metal Gear mode, where one team is equipped with stud camo and non-lethals, having to steal a disc from the defending team who are equipped with more traditional weapons. There is no respawn, so having a mic is a key to success. The last one is Comp Control, which plays like Domination, Call of Duty. It's nothing special. I also wish they didn't go with the class-based system and just left the player to decide what to do with the 3 skill slots. But it definitely has a unique feel compared to other third-person multiplayer games. Overall, The Phantom Pain is a great wrap-up to the series, which Kojima finally learned to implement themes into gameplay, and it's a very meta one at that. That was a big step up from MGS4, which I had a honeymoon phase on it, but turned out being not a fan of it. It's just hamstrung by perceived budget and time restrictions, and kept it from reaching its full potential. Overall, the game gets a 9 out of 10 in my book. Thought fans disagree about that, but thanks for Kojima and his team for persevering and getting out a pretty good game in the circumstances that surrounded it. And hope to see the next project soon.